Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is Rudy Hunter, punching 25 buttons, trying to dig my way out of a technological wet blanket. I am thrilled and delighted you are here, and we are going to get underway. So we're going to cut right to the chase. We're going to do some energy work for you. Please don't be driving or operating heavy machinery while you're doing this. You need to be safe and sound. It is deeply relaxing. We're going to do some work first. I'm going to give you some blah, blah, blah about feelings. I decided against singing the 70s hit Feelings to you because nobody needs to hear that. So I want you to pick a feeling that has been snapping at your heels for the last 10 minutes or 10 days. Something fairly recent that just keeps coming up, keeps bothering you, a feeling that keeps showing up to get your attention, which is what it's trying to do. Pick one, don't pick 27. We'll get into how to do that shortly. Pick one, and while you're settling on the one, I want you to rate it, because if you don't rate it at the beginning, we'll do something wonderful and you'll go, it's a little different. But it's very different if you go, oh, that was a 7, and now it's a 3. It's like, oh, that was a big shift, which means you can do it one more time and knock it out of the park. That's a pro hint for everybody. So pick a feeling, take your fingers in evil, diabolical, trying to take over the world pose, you know, the classic wah-ah pose. And you're going to touch your matching fingertips, but you're going to pull your fingertips a little bit apart so they're not actually touching, but there's less than an inch between them. This creates something in your nervous system that not only gets your attention neurologically, but also helps things flow, which is what we want to do with the energetic work. So hands are like this. We're not going to be here too long. Don't worry. Rate your feeling that has been bothering you. Is it a 5? Is it an 8? Is it a 10? Is it a 2? You know what? Don't do 2s. Do something over 5. Make it worthwhile. In this position, notice your starting number. Notice the feeling. Allow your eyes to close, and I'll be back to you in less than a minute. Here we go. If your mind wanders, just bring it back to the feeling, and I'll let you know when we're going to wrap up. And there we go. Bring your eyes back open, close, and touch your fingertips. Like, lets your nervous system off the hook. And then check out the same feeling you've been working on. If you've been working on anger and you're checking for sadness, you ain't doing what we're doing. You're doing something else that will put you in a maze for most of your life. So check the same thing you were working on and notice for yourself, is it the same or lower? Even if it's 1 point higher, notice that. By the way, if it's 1 point higher, check it again in 2 minutes. It will have dropped. And how much lower have you gone? I could tell you it's lower. I can tell you all sorts of twaddle. But I'm not doing this for me. This is for you to go inside and trust your own subjective experience about your feeling. For example, if you started at a 7 and it's now a 4, or you started at a 5 and it's now a 2, or whatever difference it's made for you, that was literally just a few seconds of doing this work without any sort of advanced understanding of how feelings work and why. We're going to get to that in a second. That's just the energy work pushing through a little, not even forcefully, a little more nudgy, that's a technical term, so that you can be relieved of the intensity of that emotion. And I'll tell you something now that I'm going to hammer home later. If you can learn the skills I'm going to teach you about dealing with your own emotions, you can pretty much have the world, or at least more of the life you want to be living. I know it's a big claim, so stay with me. All right. Oh, and by the way, when this is on replay, it's available for you, even if you only did what we just did a few times. You can take one emotion at a time and work through it. You don't even have to listen to the rest, although there's very cool stuff coming. So welcome, everyone. I'm thrilled you're here from literally, I see lots of clients' names and friends' names around the world. We are literally from everywhere. Cool. We're going to have a lot of fun. So the deal with the work that I offer and the work that we're going to be doing is, before there was anything in the world, meaning before medicine, alternative and traditional, before anything else even existed on this planet, when we got ill or upset or freaked out, or our family did, or our pets or our animals, there were only really two things available to us. This was even before the invention of vodka, which I'm sure was third in the list. There was energy work and prayer. That's what we had, and we still have it. It's gotten better and better and better. There are thousands of choices within this realm, and I'm thrilled you're here because I like to offer this kind of work that is gentle on you, gentle on your clients, and has a kind of built-in grace, because my practice, I help a lot of folks with trauma. Half my practice is people, the other half is animals. And I mostly serve people who suffered all kinds of gnarly trauma, sexual abuse stuff, terrible accidents, stories that would make your hair curl. And lo and behold, there are feelings in every part of that work, because feelings are in every part of human life. And if we go back to the beginning, we're going to reaccess energy work and prayer, because it never left us. It's only gotten better. So the deal with feelings is the only way out is through, not something most people want to hear. But there's a little caveat. You also have door, window, and escape hatch choices. What that means is we are not taught how to deal with our feelings, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves about growing up. If I had the skills I'm going to teach you today when I was 8 years old, all kinds of things in my life would have been so much easier. I come from a trauma background, pretty nasty one, and a sexual abuse background, also pretty nasty. And I'm not alone in that. I'm one of the thousands of people who have that kind of traumatic history or similar traumatic histories. I didn't know how to work with my feelings. So my feelings started to work through me to get my attention in very blunt, unpleasant, physicalized ways that led me through all kinds of anxiety, trauma, distress, humiliation, you name it. But I'm not unique in that. You are not unique in that either. But what we all share, or most of us share, is a school system or a parenting system or a growing up system that not only doesn't value the fact that we have emotions, much more important than that, it doesn't teach us how to work with them. So we're left with the common idea that we can either express, break a plate glass window, or repress, walk around like this and say, I'm fine for 40 years until you have a heart attack. And there is no functional middle ground. Now, granted, that's changed over the last few decades. I'm 100, so I can say that. Back when I was looking to express some emotions, I grew up in Toronto, so we used to have to fly to New York, get together with 300 other people, no kidding, and punch and bang pillows in a hotel ballroom until our wrists were sore, we were all cried out, and then we'd go and eat and commiserate. The 70s and 80s. I miss parts of them. So we have more than express and repress. There are other ways, and some of those ways are glorious. A lot of them take a lot of self-awareness, which we're not always in the mood for when we are crying our eyes out in the cereal aisle, just trying to pick a cereal and realize, oh, I'm having a strong feeling. I mean, I'm talking from my own experience, but there are certain grocery stores I'm not allowed back in. They have a picture of me up in the back wall going, do not let this man into the cereal aisle. It's not worth the cleanup. There are other ways, and some of those ways I'm going to teach you today. I'm also going to do them with you, so you don't have to think about it. I mean, let's be honest. If you're dealing with rolling, terrible, awful feelings from bad histories and whatnot, you don't particularly cheerily wake up to them and go, oh, I'm going to work on my feelings today, because I'd rather do that than go outside and sit in the sun or talk to my friends and have coffee. Nobody honestly really wants to do that, but we have to do it when it starts to interfere in our life. When we're freaking ourselves out in the middle of the night, waking up at 3 a.m., unable to go back to sleep. Some of us are unable to go to sleep for more than 90 minutes. So when it starts to impede on our health and our sleep and our family and our relationships big time, the feelings nudge us to go learn some stuff. So I'm thrilled that you're here. A couple of ground rules that I know you know intellectually. I know you've heard these before, but maybe this 3,048th time that I'm going to say it, it might hit for you. Let's just bang through these, because you're a smart person. You already know this. Intellectually, you know this. This is really important. You are not ever what you feel. You have feelings. You are not them, meaning feelings are a layer on top of you, often suffocating the life out of you. I laugh because it's true. So that's important to always remember. When you feel as if a feeling is too overwhelming, like a feeling can kill you, suffocate you, yes, it may feel like that. It is never the truth. The next thing that we're not really taught is that any feeling has almost no mass at all, but it sure feels like it does. When you, for example, are in waves of grief, you feel as if you are being drowned by an ocean that is thousands of miles wide and heavy. The feeling of grief, even though we say it's really heavy and dense and it feels enormous, we use words to describe its bigness and its weightiness. There's no mass to that actual feeling, virtually none. It's just a thing to think about. Here's my super non-medical opinion. And by the way, I should have told you already, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a vet. I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a dude who does energy work and prayer for people and animals. That's all I do, and I stay in my lane. When I'm long dead and gone, this theory that I've brought up before will eventually come to be known as true and correct. That is my opinion only. When we resist our feelings, when you resist your feelings, when I resist my feelings, it starts a process of making biological poison, acidic poison in the bloodstream. So we can get away with that for a day or two, or a week or two, or maybe a month or two. But the longer it goes, the more that propensity of the body to generate acid in our bloodstream is magnified. How do I know this? Because I've worked with an awful lot of people in my career who are either dying or have terrible diseases you don't want to even know the names of, that are born from this poison. And how do I know that it's from that? Because years ago I started interviewing them. And one of my favorite questions when I'm working with somebody who's between a rock and a hard place, I will slow them down. Once we have some trust established, I ask them my favorite question. And let's just use the example of cancer, but cancer can be any problem that has gotten them to where they are. My favorite question is, I'm really interested. What is it you think or you believe caused this in you? And usually they will say two things. They will dismiss the question first because they don't think I'm really asking that question, or they've never been asked that question, or they don't believe there's a good answer. And then I say to them, slow down, go inside, and tell me what your theory is. And without any variation, in all the people I've asked, thousands and thousands, they will come up with a reason. And the reason is always a feeling that they are too afraid of, too afraid to deal with, don't know how to let go, or feel overwhelmed by. But it's always a feeling. You can take that for free, because one of the benefits of working on your own feelings is that you lighten that propensity, and you lighten everything else as you let go of more and more. And we're going to do a lot of that as we go forward. I'm just trying to get through the basics. Knowing the truth will make you free. That's written in a couple of really, really well-read books on the planet of a sacred nature. Knowing the truth will make you free. It doesn't say act on the truth and kick your dog. It doesn't say act on the truth and throw this tantrum at Thanksgiving when everybody makes you crazy. It doesn't say knowing the truth will make you have to do all kinds of things in order to be free. It says knowing the truth will make you free. That happens directly as a result of letting go of the blocking layers, which are the feelings that are frightening, scary, overwhelming, too much. The truth is actually there. It's covered up by shellacked layers of icky emotions, and I will teach you how to get through those in quick order. A couple more things to know. When I ask you how you feel about something, I want to know how you actually feel about it, not what you've been told or has been heavily implied that you should feel. See this in couples a lot. One of them feels one way about something, and the other one is busy trying to veer their opinion towards how they should or shouldn't feel one way or another. We do in couples, we do it in political parties, we do it in book clubs and crochet circles, because we're hilarious. How you actually feel about anything is how you actually feel about anything, and I recommend, with the work we're going to jump into next, it's coming in 10 seconds, you work only on how you actually feel. All right? You'll get much better results. Here's the first pro tip for working on your feelings. Make a 3-point short list and work with that first. What that means is when you have a lot of things going on, feelings are designed to come up, swirl. They do actually let go. New feelings change them out. It's like trying to live inside a washing machine. Or one of the great analogies I've heard is that feelings are much like weather. And depending on where you live, the weather changes either slowly or quickly. And if you don't like that feeling, wait 10 minutes. Another thing will come along. Another feeling will come along. So we have to stabilize what we're working on. And if it feels all too much and all too jumbly, and there's 28 emotions, it always feels like there's 28 to me. The way to grab that by the nape of the neck or the nose, whatever you fancy, is to narrow that 3-point list into the one that has all of the goo, the heat, the force, the intensity, the behind it. So let's do a little example. Let me have that stop reflecting. And it just dawned on me, this might be completely backwards to you. It says anger, guilt, and shame. There we are. So I believe you can do the best work for yourself on an index card or a little scrap of paper. If you get out a huge piece of paper to start this, you're already going in the wrong direction. We want to get to one focused, intense emotion that is connected to all of the others, because it is, and the one that is acting as glue to hold the distress together. That's what we're going to find so we can work on. And I happen to write these down as an example, not thinking about the backwards thing. Anger, guilt, and shame. That's a great list. These are really common. These will come up a lot for you. By the way, just a little doodah in case you don't know this. Anger is often a cover for something deeper. It doesn't mean you're not feeling angry. It means under the anger, there's usually something bigger and gnarlier. Anger itself, raw anger, is what we see in fights, and it's explosive in nature, but it burns so bright and so quickly. If there's nothing else underpinning it, it usually flares out. So when there's anger in you, dig a little deeper. Find out what might be poking around underneath it. My favorite example with guilt. I don't know if any of you have ever been on a diet, but I've been on many diets in my life, and I will admit I have not followed the rules on all of them, and particularly when it comes to cake and cookies, my favorite thing. I will often, or I have often in the past, snuck an extra coffee or a serving of cake or two, and I felt guilty. And the guilt from that, here's the important piece. The guilt from that never, ever, ever stopped me from repeating the behavior. In the next diet, the same day. Guilt is a cover for a feeling. Now, I know a lot of folks who are raised religiously. My favorite folks raised religiously are recovering Catholics, because they do guilty so well, as do the Jews. They're my two favorite people. We talk about guilt all the time, because I try to teach this to folks who are chronic guilt sufferers, and they have a lot of trouble hearing it. So maybe the cookie and cake analogy might be helpful to you. Guilt is a cover-up for something else. It's a socially acceptable thing to be feeling that feels like an apology for bad behavior, but will never stop that bad behavior. And our final one on this list is shame. Very underrated. Shame is a powerful, deep emotion. You will, for example, often find, especially if you're dieting, you'll often find shame under guilt. You'll often find shame under anger. And you'll also find free-floating shame in almost every nook and cranny given human life. The trick to this three-point approach is find the big feeling, say the big feeling. Name it aloud if you can, even if you have to go into the bathroom to say it out loud. And it goes like this. I'm all jumbly. I know there's some anger in here. I know there's some guilt. I know there's some shame. I'm not sure, but if I had to guess, I think it's going to be shame. But if you do all this in your head, you haven't confessed anything to yourself. You haven't known the truth so it can make you free. So you have to know the truth. That means speaking it aloud, even if it's in a whisper, even if you have to go out into the yard or into your car or down the block for a walk, and name what it is. You say it. The big feeling I want to work on is my feeling of shame. The first time you say it, your nervous system perks up. Say it 3, 5, 8, 10 times. I'm working on my shame. I'm working on my shame. Say it slow. Don't rush through it. Make your system pay attention to that's what the target is. You'll get great results. Okay. Let's use, well, we're not going to use shame as an example for everybody. I want you to find and a name. Even if you have to run to the bathroom now and quickly run back, I want you to name the feeling that you're going to work on. Trust me on this, because as we play through this together, you have the opportunity here, not just for me to do the work, I will do more work for you. You have the opportunity to see how this can be unlocked by yourself. If I teach you how to do this, your emotional life starts to improve today, this moment. And every time you apply it, it'll improve more. So you find your big feeling, your big emotion. Now you're going to be a detective. In no particular order, I want you to carefully and slowly, I write them down because I can never remember. I want you to find elements that keep this feeling in play. Meaning, you focus on the feeling. There's some shame I have about what happened back there. What's the shape of that feeling? Now, when I'm working with clients, I will say, is it round? Is it like a ball? Is it the size of a volleyball? Or is it the size of a golf ball? Is it football shaped? Is it shaped like a box? Is it shaped like a rod? Give yourself some examples. You'll know immediately when you put your attention on it, its shape will be obvious to you. The reason it's not a struggle is because your brain and nervous system have already given it a shape. You're not going to make something up. You're just going to find out how it's represented inside you. That's what you're after. What's the location? Is it a rod going through your throat? Is it a rod going up and down your spine? Is it a golf ball size thing in your left shoulder? Or is it in your right ankle? Or is it perhaps on the back of the knee on the right side or the back of the hip on the left side? Where is it? You don't have to make this up. It's already represented inside you. Texture is a really fun one. Is it the texture of a golf ball or is it the texture of corduroy? Is it the texture of shiny polished glass or is it the texture of a shag rug? You're not making it up. You're going to find out how you've represented it. Color is enormous. Is it gray and murky? Is it bright pink and hurts to look at? Is it blue or brown or green and yellow? Is it the color of your favorite drink? Size. How big is it? Well, it's a ball. I think we did size already, but is a ball, is it this big, this big? Does it go that way? What color is it? This, the first time you do it, will probably take you a minute or two. When you get good at this, you'll go, oh yeah, I'm feeling that shame from that thing back there. It's pretty high. I feel like it's an 8 on the 10-point scale. So it feels, to me, it feels gray and it feels wet and it's up in my, what is it, collarbone? What's that part called? Up in my collarbone. It feels a little spiky too. And it kind of goes wonga, 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 like it doesn't stay still. It's got motion in it. And yeah, that's all of the bits I can recognize about it. Those are all the elements. Now that you have your list, I'm going to do some important energy work for you. We're going to use your elements. So, and by the way, on replay, you can come right back to this part, go through the elements, like where is it? What color is it? Is it moving? What's the texture? What's the shape? Put it together. I'm going to do some work for all of us now that's very hard to explain. You're going to hear some muttering. Don't worry about that part. You worry about keeping your attention on, for example, as I used in my example, the gray ball of shame that's got all those weird textures that's here, okay? Wherever it is for you. Put your attention on it. Notice how strong and unpleasant it is before we start. This won't be long. Here we go. Okay, bring your attention back. Don't go too far. I want you to reassess the feeling, how strong it is, and check what has changed. Some or all of those elements that you found will be different, usually lessened or dulled or faded somehow, but not always. Sometimes they change in different ways. However they change is fine. What matters is the high problem becomes a lesser problem because we're taking the parts away. It's the old eating an elephant analogy, although that's gross. We're taking component parts away that form the actual structure. I'm going to do one more round of energy work, but I want you to stay with what's there now. And this is going to be very different energetic work because we might as well come from it from different angles. It's just tidier. All right. Keep your attention on it again. Here we go. Okay, bring your attention back. Don't go too far. Reassess it for me. If you're really, really down on the scale, if you're at a 0, a 1, or a 2, you're done. And you can do that extra round for good measure, just to be done, done, and done. Some folks started up at a 9 or 10. So they're working their way down, usually in jumps. We don't go one at a time. By the way, if things are dropping for you 1 point at a time, here's what's happening. You're not clear enough yet on what the big feeling is. And please, for God's sake, don't make this a 20-point scale by doing halvesies. We don't do halfsies here. Not allowed. So if you're starting way up and it's taking like you're going down 1 or a point at a time, stop, take a little break, take 10 minutes away, come back to this and really make sure that you're on the feeling that burns. You can use that as a litmus test. You can ask yourself that question. Does this feeling burn? If it doesn't burn, you're not quite on the feeling. So you'll have to just tweak it a little bit. And then you'll find you'll come down by sets of 2s and 3s all the way down. And if you get to 0, 1, or 2, and you can't go below 2 for some reason, that's called inertial delay. And it's totally normal, happens in about 40% of the population. Leave it alone. Come back and check 20 minutes later, 2 hours later, while you were busy walking the dog and doing the dishes and living your life, your nervous system went, oh, good, they're occupied. Let's do the rest of it. And your system will take it down and flatten it out completely when your mind is not focused on it. So I hope you'll come back in the replay, mark these points where we're doing the work together. I want to do one other round for you that is, it's just a rescue round. So there are times when you're not going to be in the mood to do this. You can even do, I mean, I've done it. You can do this while you're sobbing and upset and it works great, but we're not always in the mood to, do this sobbing and slogging through things. I'm going to tell you just a couple of things and then we'll do one more round together that you can just fast forward to and go, okay, Rudy, drive the bus. That's what I need done. I would love, if you haven't already put in the comments, I would love to see your comments about discoveries you made, but especially the sensations of either discovering the shape, location, texture, color, and size of the ickiness, that's a technical term, or how you felt during the energy work, feeling this lighten up, leave, or basically like Elvis leaving the building. Okay, if you post that, that would be awesome. If you post it, it's basically because we're nosy. We love you, but we want to know how it was for you, because when we do this work in isolation, we think like, oh, that's just me. That's just my wiring. And then you see other people's stuff and you go, oh, they're woo-woo too. We are literally all woo-woo and we are all wired the same way. So it's very reassuring to see this freedom come into being by letting go of feelings, not just yourself, but other folks as well. So a couple of things, then we're going to do the final round. If you got here somehow without knowing how, my site is rudyhunter.com. If you sign yourself up for the newsletter at rudyhunter.com and stay on the mailing list, you'll get access to lots and lots of gems. My peers yell at me all the time for giving too much good stuff away, to which I formally say, I make these tools because I want them. We want them. I make tons of stuff available for free because at 3 a.m, or when you're traveling and you haven't got your phone with you or whatever, you can just lean in and use this stuff because we all need that help. Been there, done that in spades, got the t-shirt. I know you have too. So that's part of why these all exist. You can always find me on YouTube. Another place to come and join me. Let's see if I got it right. Ooh, I pointed the right direction. See that little Q code up there? That will take you to School, which is a free group of people. It's a little community I'm building that is not on Meta. You're welcome. So that means I run it, and we're not at the whimsy of other human beings running crazy businesses. Lots of stuff gets posted there that never is posted anywhere else. So it's a great community of really supportive people who are just lovely woo-woo lovers like yourself. So I did the code. And two more things briefly. If you want to work with me one-on-one, that's possible and doable. And I also work with folks in small groups and large groups, and that's all at my website. And for those of you that were waiting before we started, I often play the music of Aria Frankfurter, although I can never pronounce his name without giggling because I'm infantile. He years ago graciously granted me permission to use a piece of music at the start of a mystical program I was doing of a woo-woo nature. And I thanked him tremendously. And he said, do you do lots of these? I say, I do lots of stuff. And he very, very graciously gave me permission to use his music on whatever I wanted because it supported healing. And he's all about that. So aside from his lovely, amusing name, go check him out. He's got a great YouTube channel, epic, beautiful, gorgeous music. And I owe him just a debt of thanks. So let's go and do the rescue round. Forget everything we worked on today. Pick something fresh. Don't work on the same thing you've worked on through the whole thing. Come to this with something that is a singular feeling. You don't want a clump of 3. You don't want a clump of 5. You want one thing that really makes a difference. It's a keystone. It's the stone in an archway right at the top in the center that holds everything in place. And the only way to know that from feeling is to feel into your list of 3 or 5. You know, have I got some sadness here? Is it anger? Am I jealous of somebody? Do I want to stab somebody in the back? Am I revengey? Am I unforgiving about it? Whatever it is, pick one. And all you're going to do is you're going to hold it and do your best to not flinch away from it, which is a big ask. Here's what that means. Let's say it is grief. Grief is by the way, there are some people on the planet who won't feel all of the emotions because of how their life turns out, how things change and how it goes. All of us, without exception, will experience grief. It is tough. If you want more on grief, you can go to my site. There are a handful of podcasts that I've done on grief that also contain other energy work of a different nature. But I have lots to say on grief. But whatever it is you pick, you're going to hold that close. You're not going to do the usual thing of trying to push the feeling away or out of you or not feel it or turn your head. This is pushing away. We're going to flip it around and pull it close We don't have to get drowned in it. We just have to hold it about here. And I would suggest you hold it near your heart. You can put your hands up if it helps me. I'm going to go silent and inside for probably a minute and a half, maybe 2. And all that's going to happen is your mind is going to want to push that thing away like hell. Because it's a tough feeling. And we don't want to feel a tough feeling. That sounds terrible. But if we can pull it close and keep our attention returning to it for a couple of minutes, the freedom that shows up on the other side of this is pretty spectacular. So do your best. Close your eyes, bring it close. As you get distracted, even a few seconds from now, as you get distracted, just return to it, attention on it gently. That's all I want you to do. I'll let you know when we're done. We'll get it started right now. If your mind has wandered, bring it back, recenter your attention on it. We're going to go for a few seconds more, recenter that attention. And there we go. Very slowly, very gently, allow your eyes to open. Come on back to now from wherever you drifted. Sometimes we drifted a long way away. Sometimes we're right here. Just come back to here and now. And before you do anything else, assess for yourself. Focus on that same emotion. Notice what's different. I can tell you things are different, but me telling you doesn't change it for you. You noticing the differences, noticing what may have arrived, what may have left, how somehow the air around you seems cleaner or easier to breathe. Somehow your own breathing, when you think of the emotion, seems more open, more available. Sometimes we come back into what I just call adult mind. We're suddenly mature about it. We are in the frontal lobe, in our problem-solving mind, able to deal with more. Sometimes the opposite. Sometimes we just feel like we went on a holiday and somehow its effect on us is different. There's all kinds of ways to experience this, but take a moment and experience what's different. Noticing will get you almost anything. If you whip out of this right at the last minute and go and do something else immediately, you kind of rob yourself of that learning. And the other benefit to that is if you take a few seconds, notice what you notice, that trains your brain and your nervous system for all the energy work you and I ever do together on recording or live. And you get more bang for your buck because your system goes, oh, this, and it takes it in and it goes deeper. And for those of you playing the home game, that last round was several gallivants through a special healing tool that I teach called Hunter's Heart. And you can find out about that on the site. So, are feelings ever going to stop? No. They're like a tissue box. You take a tissue out, the next one pops up. For our whole life long, every day, we will have feelings. Some good, some bad, some torturous, some not. When we have more tools, as I wished I'd had when I was younger, we have way more choices about everything we do, and especially about the stuck places we tend to get into. In fact, if you want to go one further, we're in a lot of our stuck places because we didn't have ways to work with our emotions, with the feelings that keep us pointed in that direction and glued into the tough places. So this is a very valuable set of tools, and I wish you well with it. I'd love to hear what you discover about your own feelings. It's fascinating what we do and don't do, what we move towards, what we avoid in our own consciousness. All right. So thank you for spending the time with me. It's been my absolute delight to be here. Until we are together the very next time, this is Rudy Hunter. Bye for now.